Supposedly, one of the most popular and iconic dishes to come out of Italian-American cuisine is chicken parmesan, or chicken parm. I've never made it, so that's what I want to do today. I want to make chicken parmesan. The traditional meat for chicken parmesan is chicken breast meat, but I like chicken thighs. So that's what I'm going to use. And one of the methods for preparing chicken thighs is to use some heavy-duty plastic, like part of a Ziploc bag, and then pound, 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 pound. This is a whacker spoon. This works very well for pounding meat. But I have another method. The tortilla press. I have a piece of folded parchment paper here. I'm going to flip that over since the bottom is a little bit larger. And then I'm going to put my chicken on there. Again, the thick side toward the hinge. Close the press. And then you don't want to squash all the way down, because otherwise you're going to end up with a piece of chicken as thin as a tortilla. You just want to kind of flatten it out enough, a little bit, so that what you end up with is a pretty even thickness all the way across. And that should do it rather nicely. And then as far as extra pieces that are hanging on, I'm going to cut these in half anyways, because I think that would make a better looking piece of cutlet. I don't want a big cutlet, I want a small one. And I can either trim these off or kind of tuck them in there somehow when I'm putting the coating on. I have a name for this, by the way, that comes from the dish Toad in a Hole. I call this Toad in the Road. One person says I shouldn't use that expression unless I mention the game Frogger. Got a shallow bowl here. Gift from a fan. And then I'm going to put a little pinch of salt in there just because that helps to break things up a little bit. I'm going to get this well mixed up. In another shallow bowl, I'm going to be putting in 1 cup, this is about 70 grams by weight, of panko breadcrumbs. And then I have here roughly 3/4 of a cup, 85 grams of grated. This is Romano. You can use Parmesan. That's typically what the people use because it's called chicken Parmesan. I'm not going to put it all in there. I'm going to put in maybe half a cup. And then I need to stir this up. I'm ready to season my chicken here. I have some salt. And I'm just going to sprinkle, this is kosher salt. Not a lot, because I don't like things too salty. And then grind some fresh black pepper on there. Flip these over. And again, salt and pepper. Going to place them on a clean plate. Wash my hands. Now, I have some flour in a flour duster. I'm just going to dust the top of these. Some people put the flour in a sifter and sift it over the top. Some people put the flour in a bowl and then dredge the chicken in flour. And I want to flip these over. And you want to do the other side. Those are ready. Here is my egg wash. And here are my breadcrumbs. And then I've got a clean plate set aside to hold these chicken pieces. I'm going to dip that in the egg mixture, the beaten egg. And then let the excess drip off. Put it in the breadcrumbs. Make sure you pat it in really well to get it nicely coated. Again, shake off any excess. Transfer that to a plate. Do the next piece. I'm trying the one hand wet, one hand dry method. And there are my 8 pieces of chicken, floured, dipped in egg, and then dipped in breadcrumbs. You want to let these sit for about 15 minutes to let that coating set up so that it won't come off as easily when you cook these. I consider this like a do-ahead step. I don't know when my guests are going to come to dinner. They say 4:30, but 5:30 is not unreasonable for them. So I don't want to cook these until they get here. I'm going to cover this in plastic wrap and then put this in the refrigerator, and then when they get here, these should be ready to cook. I'm heating oil in a skillet on medium-high heat, in this case 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 175 degrees Celsius. Cook these in the hot oil without crowding the pan. I can fit in 3 pieces. I'm going to cook them about 3 minutes per side. These have been cooking about 3 minutes. Turn them gently so that you don't splatter oil on yourself. Look how nicely browned those are. Cook an additional 3 minutes. Here is the last of my chicken, beautifully browned. I'm transferring these to a tray lined with paper towels to absorb dripping oil. Arrange on a rack if you need them to stay crisp longer. My chicken is almost ready to go under the broiler. I cooked it to an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit or 71 degrees Celsius. I don't have fresh basil, but I do have some homemade pesto. Spread a little on each piece. I'm spooning a little marinara sauce on each. The goal here is not to smother them with sauce because there will be extra sauce on the table. I have 2 different kinds of cheese. First, some shredded mozzarella. You can use a slice of mozzarella, but I don't want these smothered with cheese either. And then I have here some diced provolone. Again, sprinkle a little on top. Add a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Finally top with a little sprinkle of the remaining Parmesan, or in my case, Romano cheese. And this is ready to go under the broiler just until lightly browned on top. There is a piece of, why not do 2? Fill the plate up, right? There's that. And because they're so good, I love Brussels sprouts. And then some homemade noodles. And we want to finish the pasta with a nice dusting of Romano cheese. You could even put some on the Brussels sprouts as well. There it is, my chicken Parmesan. I'm ready to taste my chicken Parmesan. Looks good. Crunchy. Oh, that is so good. So excuse me, I'm going to go enjoy my dinner. It's just coming up on 5:30.